Hello, I'm making a quick dinner today and I wanted to share it with you. This is a recipe that was from one of the restaurants that I love to go to, and they took this recipe off the menu. And so when I couldn't go there to get it, I had to find a way to make it at home, right? I'm sure this is not exactly their recipe. This is just my version. Of course, I add things to it to make it a little bit my own, but I wanted to share with you this version of a duck flatbread that I've always really loved. So what do I have to make this? I have the flatbread crust. There's a brand, what is it called? I think it's called Brooklyn Bread Company from Giant that I really like. This particular one is from Aldi. Wherever you can find a nice flatbread, they're awesome to keep in the freezer and pull out whenever you need a quick meal. I have barbecue sauce, any brand you like. The one I'm using today is Jack Daniel's. This isn't the one I typically use. I use one I think that's called Rufus something when I'm not making it for myself. It's the one that I keep on hand, but this is what I have, so this is what I'm using. I have on my board, this is chopped roasted duck, and so I buy this brand right here. Do you see that? Roast half duck. Oh, it's backwards. We have to fix this. But I buy this brand. You can find it at Wegmans. I think I even found this particular same one at Aldi. It's already fully cooked, already fully roasted. All you have to do is pick it off the bones. And that's what I did, and I chopped it. They used, in the original recipe, some red onion. I don't have red onion today, but I had some shallots, so that sliced up nicely. You could also just slice regular onion, that's fine. I have some sliced green apple, and over here I have some chopped arugula. Other things that you need, so they had on their original duck flatbread pizza, they had some blue cheese. I don't have blue cheese either, so I'm going to use goat cheese tonight. And then I had balsamic glaze that I'm going to use for the drizzle. So you start by just really quick putting some barbecue sauce on both of the flatbreads. Make this easy on ourselves. Good amount there, healthy amount here. I like the tanginess that the barbecue sauce gives, so I'm probably more generous than maybe most people are. But real quick, we're just gonna spread that out. Yum. Try to get it to every corner so nobody's neglected. You can't have that. Okay. Nice. So the next thing we're going to do after we have that on is we're going to top it with some of the duck. I have to divide mine in half here because I'm making 2 flatbreads. Really, that half a duck is a really healthy portion. It's more than enough, certainly for these 2 flatbreads, or if you were trying to do a dinner for, I'd say 3, you could maybe stretch it to 4 otherwise, but that's probably the max. Then we're going to do the shallots. I'm just going to try to separate them and get them really thinly all over. I could use a little bit more onion than what I have, but this is what I have, so we're just going to roll with it. And use the rest on the other half. Just separate all the onion pieces so you don't have a big chunk in any one bite. And then we're going to do the green apples. So I cut the green apples into just little matchstick pieces, and I'm going to spread those on top as well. Now I've preheated the oven to 425 per the baking instructions for the flatbreads themselves, and everything on the pizza is pretty much cooked. You know, really you just need to flash cook those shallots and the green apples, and otherwise they'll be fine. We're going to melt the cheese quick. It's really not that big of a deal. Goat cheese is the last step here. My hands are going to be a hot mess. As I said, the original recipe for this is blue cheese. I wish I had some, I won't. And I just want to break that into tiny little pieces and put it all over. And then I'm going to introduce you to the wine that we're going to enjoy with this for this evening. So anytime that I have duck, I just instinctively want Pinot Noir. I had picked one for tonight that was from the US. It was from Sonoma. That I had hoped to share with you, and I wasn't happy with it. So if I don't like a wine, I'm not going to recommend it to you, and I'm not going to have you go buy it. That's why I can't be a wine salesperson. I have a problem recommending things I don't like. So instead, I went to something tried and true, and I went back to a French Burgundy. This one is from the Côte de Beaune, but just general Côte de Beaune. It's not from any particular AOC. So it means it's one of the lower qualities. The grapes can come from anywhere throughout the Côte de Beaune, but they still have really good rules and regulations and standards on how they have to make their wine, so you know it's going to be good. I knew from the minute that I opened this wine, from the nose and from the color, that it was going to be really decent. So this is the Bouchard, and the name feels Burgundy. This 100% Pinot Noir, as I said before, can come from anywhere from within the region, and it just has lots of really fresh berry notes, you know, cherries to it. There's some raspberry to it. Anytime you have game, and I've said this before, if you have wild boar, if you have venison, if you have rabbit, if you have duck, anything that's really gamey and very savory, you want to serve it with a wine that's really fruit forward and berry, and that's absolutely, so you can slide it in. Oh, it's covered in goat cheese. Sorry about that. So that's definitely what this wine is. Lots of berries going on. More spice than I typically enjoy. So the spices that I'm talking about, it's a lot of cinnamon, clove, allspice that comes from the oak. Oak is expensive. So for this brand to use enough new oak for me to be able to taste it in the wine, it means that they spent some money on the winemaking process. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not always what I prefer. But by the time I have all the other flavors going on here, you won't even notice that there's a little bit of spice. And once I have the gaminess of the barbecue and the smokiness of the barbecue sauce and the duck come through, it'll cancel out those spice notes in the wine. And all I'll be able to taste is that fresh berry, and it'll be a perfect pairing. After I put this in the oven, as I said, I have it preheated at 425. I'm going to bake this just long enough to wilt those shallots, wilt the green apples, and melt the cheese. When it comes out, I'm going to top it with a chopped arugula, and I'm going to drizzle it with balsamic, and it'll be ready to go. Serve it with this awesome wine. Really quick, really easy. Hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon.